Here we are in a brand new year, and for many of you, cutting down on your costs and getting a better understanding of where your money is going has become a priority. So Catherine Avery of Catherine Avery Investment Management joins us now with her forecast for the new year and how that can impact your financial plans in 2011. Catherine, good having you back on the program.
Thanks, Becky.
I mean, overall, what are your thoughts on 2011 and the markets and the economy?
I think the economy is on a much better footing for 2011. We're already starting to see industrial production has been much better. On the employment side, while we're not seeing some great improvements there, we're seeing that the initial claims for unemployment applications has basically turned down and it's certainly stabilized, so less people are getting laid off. Inflation, not really a major concern. The overall headline number seems to be pretty benign, and we've had a lot of fiscal stimulus that's been put into the economy again. We've had the quantitative easings. Hopefully by the time of this showing, we will also see that the Bush tax cuts have been extended. So we're really getting a lot of help here to help this economy do well in 2011.
And you mentioned quantitative easing and the help. In the short term, yes. In the long term, maybe not.
Right.
Are you concerned, especially in the year ahead, that we're going to see any kind of issues come up related to the amount of massive debt that we have?
I don't know if we're going to really see signs of inflation in 2011.
And we've seen commodity prices go up.
Right, commodity prices have gone up, food prices have gone up in those areas, but still there's a lot of areas of the CPI that have been so benign, and we're finding that retailers, manufacturers have not been able to pass on a lot of these costs to the end customer.
All right, and for the individual out there that has lost a job, got the extended benefits, they're really looking for things to turn around. What's the likelihood that you're going to see employment improve?
If we get demand picking up on the manufacturing side, we'll probably start to see that employment picks up as well. I think companies in 2010 were really reticent to do a lot of different things. Again, we had those issues with what's going to happen with taxes and what type of other legislations that were going to come forth that were going to affect a lot of these companies. And people were really reticent to move.
Past all that. We've gotten past the health care. We've gotten past a lot of those issues, midterm elections and the rest of it.
Yeah, so a lot of these companies who have a lot of great cash on their balance sheets, who were not doing a lot with it last year, will probably start to let loose on those reins, start increasing more dividends, start initiating more stock buyback programs, reinvesting back into the business, which would ultimately mean hiring more people as well.
All right, so let's talk about the individual out there. They say, we all try and start fresh for a new year. 2011, here we are, we're going to start over again. Where would you begin as an individual in terms of trying to get everything kind of under control with regard to your money and the money flow?
Right, well, the number one thing on the checklist is make sure you get yourself organized, know where all your money is. A lot of people don't, and especially if you've had several jobs over the years, you can wind up with retirement plans in many different spots. Think about consolidating your money, making sure you know where everything is, and figuring out what your asset allocation is and whether or not that asset allocation is right for you.
That's interesting because people have had to be very portable, going from one employer to another. How would that work if you've got a 401k with this company and then maybe you have a Roth over with that company and you kind of have forgotten about it, or maybe it wasn't a big enough amount of money for whatever reason and you just let it slip. How would you go about consolidating all of that?
Well, find one place or one
like an IRA
firm, right, that an IRA rollover, and add everything into one portfolio.
All right. What about we're taping at the end of 2010, but the tax picture is more than likely going to be much clearer. What should you be thinking about when it comes to your taxes now for a new year?
Well, first of all, you always want to make sure that you maximize your retirement accounts. A lot of people don't do that, and especially for baby boomers, as you're nearing retirement, think about taking advantage of the catch-up clause. If you have a 401k, I think there's an extra amount of dollars that you can add to that once you're over 50 until you retire.
All right, and what about satisfying the amount you're putting into your 401k so you hit that match?
Yes, you want to always be able to max out your retirement benefits.
Yeah, and explain to young people the importance of a 401k or a 403b or whatever it might be.
Right. Well, a lot of times companies do match, and you want to be able to take advantage of that. That's basically free money in your pocket. And being able to save now for your retirement you'd be amazed at how that compounding over time really adds up and how much money you'll have when you actually go to retire.
Yeah, I mean, one of the areas we've talked about too is taking a good hard look at your spending, but especially your spending with your credit card. And paying that down, and the likelihood you're going to be able to pay down your balance every month. How important is that?
Very important. Debt, if you look at it on credit cards, even though interest rates, when you go to the banks hardly pay you any money. Look at the interest rates that they charge you, anywhere up of 15% and north of that. If you don't pay that off, you can get yourself into serious trouble, because that money again compounds month after month, and you're not really dwindling down your balance. You want to be able to pay off more than the minimum every month.
All right. Do you suggest to your clients that they write things down like a budget, or is a budget something that's almost impossible to stick to for most people?
Well, I think think of a budget at least as a guideline. We never like to. I never like to think of these things as New Year's resolutions, because we all know what happens with New Year's resolutions. We start that diet and then we
there it goes.
There it goes.
30 days later.
So think of it about more of a of a checklist. Writing down the things that you want to accomplish for yourself with your finances in the year 2011, whether it's going on a vacation, saving more money for retirement, gifting some of your money to your children, but at least starting to write out a plan. And even if you have to adjust it throughout the year, having that plan in front of you and having it written down can hold you to it.
All right. Catherine Avery, Investment Management, thanks for coming on the program.
Thanks.
And that's all for this week. We'll see you next week on 12 on the Money. I'm Rebecca Saram.